Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. All right, everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Aatam Gyan podcast of Bhai Daya Singh Ji. And so just like last week, we're sitting down with Bhai Jaswinder Singh from gurprashotam.com, and we started the Aatam Gyan series of Bhai Daya Singh Ji, which is a deep and pivotal and an essential conversation between the Sikh and the Guru through Brahm Gyani Bhai Daya Singh Ji of the Panj Pyare. And as you learnt last week, Guru Sahib gave the power to Bhai Daya Singh, said there's no difference between us. Any questions you ask Bhai Daya Singh Ji. And the Sangat asked Bhai Daya Singh Ji questions and he answered them. And last week was all about Karam and linked to chapter 41, Ansu 41, Rut 5 of Sri Suraj Prakash. And today we're going to move to chapter 42. But before we do, we're just going to recap some information and definitions which a few people have reached out and requested, like as simple as possible. I will try and go through them, and then Bhai Sahib will correct me where I'm wrong and then add anything else if needed. So first definition was Karam, and it's actions done through thought, speech, or behaviors that create consequences and shape future experiences. Tika?
Mm-hmm.
And Sanchit Karam, these are the stored collections of Karam accumulated from many past actions and lives. And then we have Pralabad Karam, the portion of past Karam that is currently unfolding and being experienced in this life. Yeah. And then we have Kiryaman Karam, and these are the Karam being created right now through present actions, thoughts, and intentions. And we have Antish Karan, which is the inner system of both the mind, intellect, memory, and the ego, and through which we experience and react to life. Chetan, which is pure consciousness or awareness, the ability to know and experience. Tika?
Anji.
We have Jad, a lifeless or unconscious matter which has no awareness. We have Sat, which is eternal truth, unchanging, existence beyond time and delusion. Chet, which is conscious awareness, and Anand, which is deep spiritual bliss. Is that pass?
Yeah, that's a pass.
Yeah.
Just a few things to add there. Karam is also something that shapes our current body, right? It looks like the way it does because of our karam. And one of the questions I remember I got was, what about the parents how we look like our parents? Your parents are also your karam, the ones you get. So the way that the personality of the parents, the way they look, everything is all incorporated. So karma is a very big and vast concept. It's not understood. And then there was one more. Okay, and one special thing: the Kiryaman and Sanchit Karam destroy with Gyan, like a seed being, popped in an oven. When it's burnt, therefore it doesn't give any seed anymore. But the pralabad karam is something that will happen. It can't be stopped. It's already in motion.
And when you say the other two karam can be destroyed, is that totally destroyed or is that changed?
Totally destroyed.
Satvajan, Tika.
All right. And I think we're good. You wanted to address some of the questions that came up in the last podcast?
Yeah, so we've had a number of questions come through. Some on the YouTube channel in the comments. We are reading the comments and replying, so please leave comments. We will try and reply to everything that is like a valid question. Mm-hmm. The abuse, will just respond with abuse, but seriously, we will try and respond to everything. I had this question come to me in person, and I thought it's quite a funny and relevant question to today's summer. And they asked, is AI Chetan or Jad, does it have conscious awareness? And if it develops awareness of self, does it become a Jeev, a life form?
No, it's Jad. Any of you, my fellow Star Trek fans, if you guys remember Data, the AI is basically a collection of all permutations and combinations of results that come together. They have different agents kind of controlling everything. You can argue that's the same thing what the brain does as well, but we do have an Atma. We're not programmed emotion. Okay, well, if you're a sociologist, you're going to say yes, you are. But there is a sense of in the Vedantic knowledge that the buddhi is the one that carries from one life to another. The buddhi is a personality kind of shines out of the person. So the buddhi is the one that's shaped by the karma that you've done in your previous life. So there's no atma in AI.
We'll be happy to know some people. And another question that came in: we all agree animals, fish, plants, trees are life forms. June is Pathar a rock, a June is Pahar a mountain, and is a river a June. And in this, I'm just going to point out the Shabad that from Guru Arjan Dev Ji, we Kai Janam Pahe Ki Tapatanga, Kai Janam Ganjameen Taranga, Gajmeen Taranga. And then later on, it does say Kai Janam Sel Gir Kriya. Like in some incarnations, you're a worm, a moth, in some, an elephant, a Gaj, a mean, a Taranga, a fish, a deer. And later on it says, Gai Janam Sel Gir Kriya. In some incarnations,
mountains.
You are rocks and mountains, indicating that these are life form. Like, and the question is, how does the life form or the Kriya and the Karams of mountains and rocks play out?
So this answer to this one is kind of two-part. When you're looking at the individual, like, rock here or water here, the short answer to that one is no, they're not aware. That's what we call Jad Chetan. There is awareness. It's like sun shining in the window, right? It kind of goes everywhere. But it's like the magnifying glass scenario that we had, right? You need the magnifying glass to harness the Chetana of the sun, the light of the sun, right? Same thing, the buddhi needs to harness the Chetan of the Atma, right? Only then can another ego develop from that, right? With those mountains and rivers, it really doesn't. But now, when we go into Puranic Katha, and now as Guru Sahib was saying as well, right, he's talking about rivers such as Ganga, Jamna, Saraswati, Godavari. They're known to be like the daughters of certain other powers, right? Like the Jamna is the daughter of the sun, right? The Ganga is a daughter of Himawat, the mountain, right? What that actually means is the meaning is actually more deep-seated than we know, but it is considered a life form. We'll discuss in later on chapters how suksham, the senses were created before the actual tat. Like before water was created, the power of water was created. Before fire was created, the power of fire. So when we say Surya Dev, it's not really this sun that we're talking about. We're actually talking about the collective of suns in the universe. The power behind that is Surya Dev, right? It's funny, some of it will actually come in today's thing too, depending on how far we get into it. And I'll kind of, I'll elaborate when it does come there.
And then we had a question from on YouTube from @BossmanInit. So shout out to @BossmanInit. He goes, what can one do about sins hurting people done earlier in this life that you realize were wrong, but now want to balance the scales and repent? What advice can you give on this issue?
Well, the short answer is, ask for forgiveness from the person, sort it out through communication. But if that's not possible, then seva. Sadhu Santandi seva, doing seva at the Gurdwara, right? Remember, if you listen to some of the other podcasts that we had before, is when we talked about the whole langar concept, right? Is like when Varun Dev came to Guru Angad Dev Ji, right? And he asked for seva in the langar, right? The langar seva is considered the highest. It destroys all karam, good or bad, actually, right? And then listening to kirtan, listening to Nam Simran, it destroys your pap, right? Like we talked about, Oto pe nave ke rang, right? So Simran and Seva are the way to get rid of all that. That's the way to repent from them.
And you know what? Since our last conversation, and thank you for starting this journey for us. It is the last conversation opening my mind up to the Panjvi Rut and stuff. I've been thinking about Karam, I've been thinking about action, especially June, and in even Gurbani, like Karmi Ave, Kapara, Nadri Moktor, I've been thinking, wow, all of this is deep. And there's a Shabbat that came up yesterday, about 2 days ago in Sage Part, and Sage Part. And I just wanted your view on it, your insight on it. So the Shabbat that I was reading, thinking at, when I looked at it, I thought I want to ask Bhai Sahib about this. It's Someh Karmi Jo Shabad Bichare Antar Tat Gyan Ho Me Mare. Like those who reflect on the Shabad are beyond Karam, and inside Tat Gyan, true wisdom kills the ego. And then the Agla Pankti is Home Kare Neh Karmi Na Hove. If you do Hankar, then you're not beyond Karam. Gur Prasadi Home Kove. And only through Guru's Kirpa, ego.
And the hoge bhi. Yeah.
Uh, so like
Bilkul.
it's crazy. It's just you made like I would have just read through that, but the conversation really
Now
made
it
this.
pops out, eh?
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Yeah. We once had that conversation about, Krishan, the Gopiya asking Krishan to go across the Jamuna, and then Krishan goes, if
That was last time, yeah, in the last
yeah,
yeah.
this is basically that defines that Shabad that you're talking about too, right? It's the ego when you're working from the ego, right? The karam leaves seeds, right? When you're not working from the ego, when you're just kind of doing it the way the body, there's actually something's going to come up in this chapter as well about that, right? When you're not working from ego, you're just doing it as part of your duty. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? Then it doesn't leave any karam behind.
And there's so many shabads that I came across this week that I thought, I want to highlight this, talk about this, but obviously due to time and stuff, we'll move forward. And another day we'll just sit and do some a Gurbani jam and like maybe record it for the Sangat.
Sure, yeah. After we'll have a few open sessions too.
ठीक है.
Maybe we can do a
Also,
live. I don't know. Get people to ask questions live on a chat. We'll have to
ठीक.
figure that out.
So basically, the introduction to this chapter is the Singhs sitting with Bhai Daya Singh Ji.
Yes.
Karam is explained, and now they go to ask a further few questions.
Yes.
And I just want to take a moment to look at the actual questions, which is absolutely crazy. Just like, wow. I'm just going to read a few of the questions just so we know what's coming in this episode and
Perfect.
just look at the Sochni, the mind, the Gyanta of the Sikh at that time. So they go, Pon Singan Bhujan Karyo, Kaho Roop Agyan, Maya Bahur Abidya Bandhan Mok Bakhan. So they're asking what is
Maya.
Agyan, what is
What
like
is it again?
ignorance, what is Maya, what is avidya, what is Bandhan, what is Mok, liberation, what are the types, and then Jagat, Supana, Sukhopat, Teen, what are these three different states of Avastha, Jagat, Supan, and Sukhopat, which you're going to explain today. And then Eh Avastha, Kahuprabin, explain these. Murcha, Roop, Samad, Grije. What is Murcha and what is Samad,
Samadhi.
Samadhi, which we all want to form. And there's things that I've never heard of, like they're talking about that. And Turiya Vasta Roop Panije. What is Turiya Vasta and its Roop? Ek Saki Arjeev Jehoy. What is Saki? What is Jeev? Like, what is illumination? What is the one that listens? Just in Roop Bakhano Hoy. What are their forms? Punah Brahm Nirnay Karlohe. Now explain what is Brahm. Like break down and ask what is Brahm. Panch Kosh Ko Roop So Kaho. And Prasana, Pandre Prasana Sona Sabkan, Daya Singh Ki Karat Bakhan. So Daya Singh's listen to all of these questions and everything. But just I want to take time to what. Yeah, often they asked the Sangat say ask questions, and these are the questions they come up with. What is Brahma? What is Samadhi? Very like profound, deep questions. And I was thinking, these are Sikh that are later on going into battle, taking off heads, but they're all Brahmgyanis with this form of question that they're asking shows their level of Sikhi. And it made me reflect on, I go to loads of camps here, work with the youth, work with adult camps, and we go to camps here and they're asking the same old questions, and it's usually it falls down to egg, can we eat egg, can we do this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, what can we ask? Where can we go? How can we get like so like inspired? And we're like such a cringe level right now doing these silly arguments, and I think that's why
They're
these.
seeing the body as the truth. They're not looking at the Atman. That's the basic underlying problem there. They're focusing on the body. They're not focusing, even though a ni khana, a ethe ni khana, a uthe ni khana, a es pandaj ni khana, a os pandaj ni khana, right? They're not looking at the practicality of why the Singhs and the Dal do what they do versus what Gristis do. Now, this might be controversial. But the thing is, there are some things that the Singhs in the Dal have a certain lifestyle,
Hanji.
which is a little different from the lifestyle of Gristis and householders, right? And mostly you're good with it, but there are some things when you try to merge the two together, it just doesn't work,
Yeah.
right?
It just like I was thinking our questions, like with this hopefully inspires people to ask deeper questions,
Yes.
to go on deeper, like what is Brahm, what is meditation, Naam ke mein japi that, and hopefully it creates a ricochet effect where there is conversations going on, which we're basically starting to break down. So anyway, coming forward, I'm going to ask the question. The first question that Bhai Daya Singh Ji's asked is, what is Agyan?
Okay. So I'm gonna translate the definition for Agyan, and then we'll see how it kind of works out. So what he says by Daya Singh Ji's Agyan is, first of all, it's without form. It doesn't have form. Agyan is not born either, and it doesn't have a beginning, like we discussed in our last one. It's considered anadi, and I'll tell you why it is, because it's a form of Maya. It lives within one small area of a Kalpuruk, like the one that, you know how Gyaniji says, "I don't know." It's the thing that says, "I don't know." It's like a piece of mole, like it's like a mole, like a mole, like a mole, like a
Mole,
mole
mole, mole,
on the.
mole.
It's like a mole on the body of a Kalpuruk, or in a Kalpuruk, as we can call it, right? So a Gyan has 6 parts. There's Vyapak Chetan, the consciousness within all life. Chetan, the consciousness as a whole, right? Ishwar, the one who's connected to and controlling Maya. Jeev, which are life forms, me, you, animals, and everything else. And then the difference between Jeev and Ishwar, because in the Maya, Jeev and Ishwar is seen different, right? Agyan is the one that makes you see them different. It's actually the same. The Chitabhas, which is the reflection of the Atma that gives rise to the sense of self. Chitabhas is me, you talking, the one that's seeing, the one that's talking to you, the one that's thinking. That's the Chitabhas. Okay, this is basically, it's a mirror reflection of the Atma, like the sun shining in, right, and me holding a piece of glass, and then I can make kind of a light, a square form of light, kind of just reflecting off the wall. It's more brighter, it's more hotter, it moves around, so it seems like it's moving. That's the Chitabhas, the thing that's moving. The light reflection is moving around. So these 6 are invisible and can't be seen because of Agyan. Just as the board tree, right? Board seed. A board is a tree. It grows in India, and that mostly that past the Middle East area. It's a very, the seed is very small, but the roots, stems, leaves, bark, branches, fruits, they have the seed hidden in it, right? Everything is in the Agyan in the same way. That is called the Abhyakirat, which is only the power. It is also called Abhyakat. In the Samya state, right, which is the first state where everything was one.
What does Samya mean?
Samya state is basically before the whole creation is created.
Yeah, Hanji.
It's everything is in one. It's all together.
So with creation came division.
Exactly.
Hanji.
So, and the Agyan is the one that's in charge of making you see everything different. It's the one that does not let you see the oneness of everything. That's a key.
Gyan is your form of identity and individual experience.
Yes. It does not let you see the aggregate of the thing, and that's a basic definition of a Gyan, and we keep it there because there are other things that are part of a Gyan, or which a Gyan is a part of, that we want to discuss. Like the next question, which is Maya.
So isn't Agyan and Maya the same?
Yes and no. It's like salt mixed in water. Where's the salt? Where's the water? Right? But remember, Chaya Rupi Hoike Bichrit Sri Gopal, right? Ape Lakshmi Bapatare, right? So Maya is also a power. You have to understand that as well.
saying that, I have a few questions regarding Sarblo as well. Like in Guru Granth Sahib, there's the questions asked as well. We Maya kisno akhiye kya Maya karam kamaye, and like what is Maya? What does Maya do and stuff like that. And in Sarablo, there's a Shabbat just after what you quoted, and goes, it's talking about Maya, Tum bin Sarina Ekshin
Yes,
Kar, what I said.
uh,
And like we often hear in Katha, we Maya, like in Nanak Sar Ardas, to go Maharaj apni Maya no more do and stuff. And here it's saying, Tum bin Sarina Ekshin Kar, what I said.
uh, which is funny, right? Because in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we're saying Maya, right? It's something to be avoided, right?
Hanji.
But in Sarvlo, everything begins to come together, right? The Brahm, the Brahm is now coalescing into oneness again, right? It's amazing. Like when you, if you've had the fortunate opportunity of doing Santya Sarvlo Maharaj, right? You see that a lot of the Brahm Vidya comes into it, like Vedanta Gyan, Brahm Vidya. It almost has everything in it, but it's bringing everything together now, right? You had Maya first in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, what is something to be avoided because it's causing the agyan on top of you, is causing you to see duality. It's not letting you go towards Parima Bhakti, right? And then now in Dasam Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Guru Sahib says Maya is a Shakti.
Because like in Guru Granth Sahib is Maya agana jale sansare gurmukh nivare sabad vichare. With Maya's the one that's burning the whole dunya.
Right. Maya Mamta Mohani. Then Vin Danta Jag Khaya.
And like
Right?
Maya which says no upje, like in Maya there's no
Yes.
sage, there's no anything like, and like
Right.
how do we, like what is Maya, and should we bacha from Maya or should we embrace Maya?
So let's see what the definition is. It says Maya, the samya state of the three guns, the collective state, the aggregate state of the three guns when they're all one: satogun, rajogun, tamogun. Right?
Hanji.
Now, I don't want to go too deep into that because that will come later on too. But if I kind of just give a brief synopsis or a brief kind of definition, satogun is what makes your mind calm, everything that's good. It's prosperity, it's charity, right?
It's like a
It's a
sage, you know?
desireless state. Yeah,
Yeah.
a desireless state. Rajogun, on the other hand, is ambition. It's drive. I want
Hanji.
to do this. I want results. I want to have that, right? So most of us are in Rajogun state, right? Let's be honest, right? We're all working towards a career. We're all working towards gathering Maya. We're all working towards making a name for ourselves, securing our properties, securing a life for our family, right? And we're working hard. We have an ambition. We have a goal. That's Rajogun. Tamogun.
Or like in Tamogun,
Yeah.
like
Tamogun.
darkness, laziness.
Okay, yeah, tamogun is the inert power, right? It's basically the yeah, laziness as you described it. You want the results, but you don't want to work towards it. Fire, right? Mo, calm, right? That's all tamogun. So anyway, that's a brief summary of what that is. And then this says in the samya state, they all three were equal. The reflection of the chetan shined within the samya three guns, and when they were mixed together, then they were separated. The guns then change and separate into sato, rajo, and tamo guns, like milk separating into curds and liquid, then changing from cream to butter. The reflection of Brahm was the starter, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. Sato, rajo, and tamo further divided into pure and impure states. This is what we call the Shuddh Satogun and the Malin Satogun, right? Within the Shuddh Satogun, the pure Satogun, Maya was formed, right? Now, this is what I'm talking. This is the Maya of Sarblo Guru Granth Sahib Ji.
Hanji.
Very important thing to know, because this is the power we're talking about now in the Shuddh Satogan. Now,
So
remember,
it's creation.
right?
Hanji.
Within the impure Satogan, the Malin Satogan,
Hanji.
avidya was formed.
ठीक है.
The thing that caused avidya, the not knowing. So Maya is also known as Pradhan within the Sang Shastra. This is basically Maya. And it's going to the next definitions are going to actually define it even more. So your next question is avidya, right?
Yeah. So like I'm just trying
Go on,
to
yeah.
conceptualize this Maya. So
Okay.
this is the good Maya,
Both.
and the bad Maya.
we're talking about both because at this point, okay, so you had the state, like a ball that was all together. Everything's together. Like three guns are together,
Hmm.
and then the Chetana of Akal Purukh went into it and right divided it up. Maya was formed, Shuddh Maya was formed, Maleen Maya was formed, and then the third one we also say Tamogun was formed too. By that, I think he doesn't mention it, but from Vedanta Gyan we know. I'll give you a little foreshadowing. The within the Shuddh Satogun, when the Chetana of Brahm fell in there, that's what we call Ishwar. And then in the Maleen, the dirty state of Maya, of Satogun, sorry, remember we said the Avidya was born? That's us. That's us. And Vichar Chandrodaya, it mentions is that they call that Kutast. It's called the anvil. The soul, the Atma is called the anvil, right? Kutast. I don't want to confuse everybody too much, but in sometimes it's important to know these definitions just because they will come up in Gurbani and they will come up in other deep kathas that you may listen to. So
So the,
once you, so go on.
go on, the Maya that comes in Guru Granth Sahib by Gurdas and the Avara, stuff like that, what is that Maya in a sentence?
It depends which one you're talking about. Overall, if you look at it,
Hmm.
it's Maya that makes you see two, right? Remember, Maya is the one that's making your real self covered from yourself, right?
ठीक है. So like in by Gurdas and the Vara, there's that Shabad Maya Dar Dar Patahar Gurdware Jave Taha Jo Maya Byape Kaha Thera Ye, like fearing Maya we run to the Godvara, but even in the Godvara if it overpowers us, we have no escape. That is the Maya of illusion, that is the Maya which separates
Duality.
us
Yeah,
from Prameshwar.
exactly.
Anji.
So whether it's the power of Maya, which is the good Maya, or whether it's the dirty Maya, the Maleen Maya, Sadogun Maya, they're both still Maya, right?
Huh.
The when now you'll probably see right in the Indian philosophy you'll see the picture of Vishnu, right, sitting on Sheshnag, right, who has 1,000 heads, who is saying the names of Akal Purkh,
Anji.
right, and then you have Lakshmi, Maya Lakshmi, who is basically massaging his feet. So that's exactly what it's showing is that the Chetana that shined into the Shuddh Satogun Maya controlled Maya quickly because it remembered who it was. So Maya became Narayan's Dasi, right? This is now the power of Maya. Remember, in Nanak Prakash Granth, towards the end, where Pailana Ji, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, is doing seva of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he sees a beautiful woman coming in and doing massaging Guru Nanak Dev Ji feet, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't even acknowledge her, he doesn't talk to her, and then she massages and go. And then Guru Angad Dev Ji, Pailana Ji, says to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who was that? She didn't look like she was human. She looked like she was a goddess. And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji turns to Pailana Ji in surprise, says, oh, you saw her? And he said, yeah. He goes, okay, that means Kartar Parmeshwar is he's being compassionate over you. You're now able to see Maya different from the world, right? So, and then it's the same thing, right? Maya's always wanting to do the seva of Parmeshwar, but Guru Nanak Dev Ji he goes, she wants to come serve me, but I don't let her near me. She's going to stay, I think, 12 ko away from me. And then he says, when you sit on the gaddi, she'll be 6 ko's away from you. And then when Guru Amar Das, when I come into my third incarnation, it's going to stand at the door, but she's not going to come inside. In the fourth incarnation, she's going to come inside. Now you remember that, right? So
Yeah.
now I remember Baba Indraji's talk about what the whole Baranko 6 ko meant. There's actually a significance on it. I don't remember, but that's something Mahapuruks would know. We're just copycats. That's right. So we're not really Mahapuruks. But yeah, no, if you notice, like, Guru Amar Das Ji, when he was doing Langar Di Seva, right, he didn't accept any money, right? He said
Anji.
only 1 day's worth. Everything was given
Agla din
away
da
by the end of the
we'll
day,
see. Yeah.
right? And then Guru Ram Das Ji's time is when Akbar, gave Mata Pani Ji the deed to buy. I can't remember if it was
The Jameen after Guru Sahib
Jameen,
refused it. And
Amritsar, and then Baba Buddha Di Beed, right? That was the Jameen that he gave, and then Guru Amar Das Ji recognized, okay, yeah, it's time for Maya to come inside the door now, right? So Maya, and then he says, right, कि उस तो बाद सारे उपद्रव भी होंगे, like all the problems are going to come after the Maya comes inside the house, right? Priti Chand,
Yeah,
right? We see
British.
all the other, right? Sare, फिर, all the problems, and the family starts fighting too, right? They all see themselves as the first family, so they all want special treatment, right?
And
That all
in,
became,
and in that way, is Guru Sahib's divine design to show how Maya will infiltrate and how we fight and how we stand in the face of Maya and all of this as well.
yeah, you need Maya to live in the world,
Mm.
but then you have to be in control of it. But then again, you can only be in control of it with the Guru's kirpa, right?
Mm.
As you know, there's a Sakhi that comes up during Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj time, where Bhai Gurdas Ji is confident that if a Sikh follows the right path, has a good head on his shoulders, is able to control the Maya. And then the other Sikhs were saying, "Oh, we can't do that. The only way we can do it is if Guru Sahib is, compassionate towards him." And Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji then sends him to go buy horses in Afghanistan. And then when he gets there, the coins turn to clay chips or something, and then Bhai Gurdas Ji heads off to Banaras, and then it's a long katha. It's a very beautiful katha, actually, by the way, because that's where Bhai Gurdas Ji goes to Banaras, and then he does the Vaheguru Stotram. He defeats all the pandits of Banaras, the most educated pandits in Banaras, and then they all become his Sikh. Even the Raja of
To the
Banaras
Gyan
becomes,
Charcha.
yeah. After
Hanji.
the Gyan Jachai, and then even the Raja of Banaras becomes the Sikh of Guru Bhai Gurdas Ji. He takes his charan Paul. But anyways, let's move on. Let's go
See,
into,
just before I
yeah,
interrupt you, Jay, you was relating Maya to Vidya in terms of what's Vidya's role in the Maya story or the
yep,
in Maya.
exactly. So that's the next definition, because they want to ask what avidya is.
Hanji.
So in the Samya state, the oneness state, the Chitabhas shined and the changes happened. So the Chitabhas was created because of Maya, right? The
And
pure
what is
Satogun.
Chitabas again?
Chitabhas is so yeah, your sense of you, right?
Take it.
Your
Yeah.
brain, your mind was thinking.
Hanji.
I mean, when you sit there, you're listening to me now, you're
Hanji.
reacting to what I'm saying, right? That's the chitabhas, the sense of you,
Hanji.
right? And within that, the sense, I mean, it's basically just a reflection of the chetana of the atma,
Whoa. Take it.
right? Otherwise you can't think on your own. Otherwise you won't be able to do judgment. Otherwise you won't be able to even desire. The chit won't work, the man won't work, the buddhi won't work, even the hankar won't exist if the atma is not there, right? Think of
Yeah.
it like the electricity coming into the fridge, right?
Hanji.
Now the fridge is able to use the electricity and
What?
cool
Yeah.
things, right? So that's basically the chitabhas, right?
Mm.
The pure satogun gave rise to maya, right? We already know that from the last definition. The impure satogun gave rise to the avidya. Now that's the avidya, us, right? We don't know. Understand that avidya means not knowing, is destroyed by the wisdom of the guru. When the consciousness of the antishkaram came to be, right, the reason of knowledge, it realized, aham brahm asmi, oh, I am the Brahm. The duality then ceases to exist. Now, Harnakash, who was the Pita of Prahlad. We won't go into the story too much. I request people to either Google or find it on YouTube who Harnakash was. He was the father of Prahlad.
I think most people listening would know.
Hopefully,
Uh,
some don't. Both Harnakash and Krishan said, I am the Brahm.
Same thing, different.
Right.
Yeah.
The difference was Harnakash was talking about his body and his Antashkaran.
And from Hankar.
Right. And Krishan was talking about his Atma. In a sense, now this is where a lot of our people, when they want to slander the Gita or they want to say bad things about it, they say, oh, look, Krishna called himself God. At that point, Krishna wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the Brahm. He was talking about Arjun. He was talking about himself, right? This is all
From a state of oneness.
right. And in Sukhmani Sahib, this is explained in very much detail, right? And then he was referring to his Atma. So when the consciousness becomes without end, that is when the Vidya state, only seeing the one, like people like Ram Kaur ji, Baba Buddha ji, Bhai Mani Singh Ji, right? They only saw the one. They didn't see the two. Excuse me there. Now, there's two types of agyan. Karan agyan, which is when agyan was part of Akal Purukh. Okay? Karaj agyan, within the processes of the world. When both of these are destroyed, only Brahm remains. And this will come
So
later on.
Karan, what do you mean by Karan? Like,
Maya.
and Karaj is through function.
Yeah, the processes of the world, within the process of the world, like, things we don't know in the world, right?
Hanji.
When the Gyan comes, right,
Hanji.
both are destroyed. So that's the reason why when a Brahmgyani receives Brahm Gyan, they're also omniscient, if that's the right pronunciation. Omnipotent and omniscient, right? They can see every heart. They can see every mind, because now
And
there's no duality.
and then like in Nitnem, like Guru Gobind Singh goes into this showing their avastha, like sare manas ki jaat sab ek ki pehchan wo,
Pehchan wo.
करता करीम सोई राज कर रहीम होई दूसरों न भेद कोई पूर्ण ब्रह्मांड वो एक ही की सेव सब ही को
Sab eko
गुरुदेव
dev ek.
हाँ so they're showing that one everything is one Jameen tu hi Jama tu hi Abu tu hi Abba tu hi that's the so like wherever they see wherever that with that dristi na kaat hai na kaat baad
One.
hote hai
Ah,
that it no can it be more no can it be less it is that one just if we want to visualize what it looks like Guru Gobind Singh explains it.
and now, if there's only one, right, then how can Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva be two, right? They're part of our one as well.
Yeah.
And so is Muhammad and Abraham at this point, right? When we look at it, and this is what I say, it's like Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Kala Purukh himself, right? For him, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, Christian, there was no difference. He was the God of all,
Yeah.
right? He wasn't just the God of the, he wasn't just the Guru of the Sikhs. He was Guru of the world. He is the one who gave Quran to Muhammad Sahib. He was the one that gave Gita to Krishna Ji. He was the one who, gave, it's his breath that was the Vedas, the knowledge. Right? There's only one.
They created everything over here.
Yeah, it's the avidya.
Yeah.
It's the avidya that's creating the two, right? It's the maya, it's the avidya that's creating the two. When you get rid of that, all you see is one, right? There's no two. So,
And when Vidya ends, although you hundaya with that oneness.
yeah, exactly. And
When
why
there's
does
n-
this? Why does it exist, right? Which is going to be our next word definition, which is bandhan, right? The bondage. What is it? And Bhai Daya Singh Ji says the bandhan starts the body, indriya, the man, the pran, and these are going to be defined in detail later on.
Yeah.
These are the anatam. They're not atma. They're not you, right? This is basically the hunk of metal of fridge, the hunk of metal of the oven, right? Whatever appliance you want to talk about, right? The body, the indriya, the man, the pran, your breath, right? This is the anatam, right? The Buddh Atma exists within them. Buddh Atma is it's a bit of a funky definition. Now, the sun's shining in, right? And I'm reflecting it off of a small mirror. That sun's light is there, but it's being reflected, but it's there as well. When the Atma has a pure Chetan, which doesn't it just witnesses. It's a Sakshi. The definition of Sakshi will come later on.
Yeah.
But within your conscious, within your awareness, the Atma's Chetan is there as well in a very small amount. Otherwise, your Chetana can't exist either, right? And then when your I guess Chitabhas kind of dies out, only the Atma remains. Only that awareness remains, right? So you're saying the Buddha Atma exists within them and thinks that it is actually the body, Indriyas, Man, and Pran.
So it's the Bodhatma that thinks it's the Sarir, the Indriya, the sight, touch, taste, feeling, all of that.
Exactly. This is not going to come up. It may come up later on, but I don't remember. But in Vichara Chandra, this is called the Anyo Anya Adhyas, and I'll explain what that is. Is when you take a hunk of coal or a ball of metal. Let's say it's a ball of iron. You heat it to the point where it goes red. Now fire and metal have become one. Metal doesn't really burn, but now when you touch it to something else, it's going to burn. So the Atma gives you some of its properties, and then the Man gives the Atma some of its properties. So you begin to say, I am hungry, I am thirsty, when in a sense, actually, it's the pranas inside you that become hungry or thirsty. I am angry, I am happy. It's the Man that becomes happy or angry. It's not you. But you're thinking they're the same. This is the bandhan. Okay? The bandhan is when you think you're the body. It's like a crystal. You put it onto a red color scarf, and now the crystal looks like it's red. That's what we call anyonyadhyas. It's the delusion.
Like to simplify, it's like an actor in a movie thinking they am the actual character when they're not.
Yeah, yeah. If they kind of go crazy and think that way, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, when you remove the crystal, right, it's not red anymore. So when the man is separated, and that only happens in the Sakopatavastha. That'll come up next too. Right. So that's the bandhan. This is right. This is the bandhan, which is a reason for pain. This is where all pain comes from, because you're thinking you're the sharir, because you think you're the man, right? This is where I need my money, I need my respect, right? I was hurt. This person didn't listen to me. This is where all the pain. I didn't get what I would deserved, right? This is where all the pain comes from.
So it's basically a recognition of the true self. So having a body, having thoughts, having senses, that's not the issue. It's thinking that you are them.
You are them. Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing you've said that. A very good point, right? I am the body, I am the indriyas, etc. This is the bandhan, right? And then the next question was, what's moksha? Now, we talked about this one too. Simple question, moksha. Mo attachment, ksha dying. When the attachment dies, that's moksha, and it kind of gives into when the bandhan. What is it? What is it that you're doing? You're identifying yourself as the body, indriya, man, and prana. That's the attachment. So you're attached. Therefore, you don't have moksha. But when you're detached, that's moksha. And
what's the difference between moksha and mukti?
Same thing.
They're both the same.
The same thing, different words. By practicing, that's basically saying what's the difference between Brahma Gyan and Mukti. All right. You're calling your father or your pita.
No, I'm just clarifying it because I'm not that smart.
No, good. Please keep asking those questions, because a lot of people are going. If you're thinking, a lot of people are thinking questions, and unfortunately, we're not live, so people can't really, But like you said, please feel free to comment below. No question is a bad question. We're all at our different states. We were at this state. We're still at that state. We're just,
And
But anyways,
questions is if you ask one, you're stupid for a minute. But if you don't ask, you're stupid forever.
Of course, yeah. You're never gonna know, right? And sometimes I remember at work or something or other, when it's starting off, sometimes I ask a dumb question, and the funny thing is, I later figure out that what other people come up to say like, "Jazz, is a good thing you asked that question because I was thinking about the same thing," but I just felt stupid.
I'm the stupid one that asks.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna take a hit for the team, man.
Right? Yeah, but I'm just like, I don't care if somebody thinks I'm stupid. I just don't care, right? I want to know something. I want to know something. By the way, I'm the most leecher student there is. You can ask Gyaniji that too, how much I bug him. Anyways, so moksha, by practicing the Guru Shabad, the ego of the body, I am the body, is destroyed.
Like Sabde Gatamata Mokh Dwar, through the Sabad, that is the doorway to salvation, to moksha, basically.
Right. The wise one receives moksha by being one with the Sat Chit Anand, right? And we defined that already. The Sat Chit Anand is the pure. It's what basically the form of Atma is. It's what Paramatma is. So there's two ways of thinking about it, right? What is not Akal Purukh? Na Ragam, na Rupam, na Rekhang, right? He's not this, not that, not this, not that, right? But then what
That's
is
a bad Shandaman. Such a na singer hai, na syara hai, na mao hai, na mote hai. So good, so good.
Right? And then what do you say, right? Sada Satchidanand Satrang Pranasi. He is Sat Chit Anand.
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
or Akal Purkh. I keep saying he, but I mean, that means Akal Purkh is genderless. So please don't.
He, she, it,
Yeah,
they, did
I
them.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm a I'm a baby of the '70s. So please don't kill me for that. That's just the way I talk. I, I know that a lot of political correctness, but yes, people who are kind of pointing fingers, they're probably right. I mean, they are right. Akal Purkh is genderless, and that's just the way our language is, or the way I grew up, right?
And
So
language and vernacular will always fail when it comes to Parmeshwar.
yeah, I have a hard time incorporating Z in my
Yeah,
language. Z, Zem.
we ain't doing that. None of that. We
Oh
don't
yeah, no. I'm
label.
making fun of everybody, but
Yeah.
that's how I grew up. So where the wise one receives moksha by being what the Atma the Sat Chetanand, right? Akal Purkh is Sat Chetan Anand, and that's it. It's like what is fire? Fire is heat and light. You take away heat, you take away light, you have nothing left. It's not the characteristics of fire; it is what fire is,
Yeah.
right? Sat Chit Anand is what Akal Purkh is, right? So then now they were talking about, now this is where it's going to get a little deep. The next question was, what is Jagrat, Swapan, and Sukopat? I'm going to summarize some of it because that's the way Bhai Daya Singh Ji did it as well. Because later on, he's in the later chapters, he's going to explain certain definitions in more detail, and for obvious reasons too. You'll understand when they come to it. So
Just for anyone listening, you did say before we started, you did say today is very definition based, and
yes,
going on in the further chapters, it gets much deeper, like crazy,
oh
more
yeah.
interesting. Like wow, like coming up. But we need to know this to know that.
Sometimes I reread it and I say, huh? You know what I'm saying? I have to think about it. I'm like, oh yes, yes, yes. That's what it is. It's I mean, one of the things is, right, you have to understand this is Brahmchintan. And if you ever spent time with Baba Indrajit Singh, you would know that that's all that he did. He did Brahmchintan. This is all the stuff that he talked about, because he used to say, you never know when you're listening to this stuff. Brahm Gyan can come anytime when you're doing Brahmchintan, right? And that's a concept in all the Vedanta as well, is because remember, Vedanta believes in pure Gyan. When you understand pure Gyan of your Atma, that's when Brahm Gyan comes. And that there's many ways to Mukti, right? And we also talk about Pativrata. I know the modern day, I don't want to say feminists, but there are people who kind of say, that the Pativrata shouldn't happen. Like Pativrata is basically where you see Paramatma inside your husband and you serve your husband in the same way. You can do it to anyone. You can do it to your parents, right? When you serve your parents in the same way, when you see a Akal Purkh inside your parents and you serve them, right? It's the same thing.
With the Sangat. Huh?
Yeah, Sangat as well, right? Shravana Kumar, who used to do the bhakti of his parents, he carried his blind parents around to do the yatra of all the, right? And then, there's many, Bhai Langaji, Bhai Paroji, Bhai Manjaji, Bhai Beloji, Bhai Pera Mokhaji. How many can I talk about? They're all mentioned by Gurdas Ji's Wara, right?
It's not a sexist ideology. It's an ideology of service.
Yes, right. They all basically saw, Guru Sahib, they saw the Tirath Harmandir Sahib as Akal Purkh. They saw the Guru as Akal Purkh, and they achieved Brahm Gyan just by doing that. They didn't do any tap sadhana, right? Guru Amar Das Ji just took water to bring for the langar and to Guru Angad Dev Ji for his baths and stuff, and he received Brahm Gyan. We have Parshuram Ji. This is one of the examples of Parshuram Ji did tapasya for 11,000 years to only receive 2 powers of Vishnu. But Guru Amar Das Ji did 11 years of seva of the Guru and received the asana of the throne of Akal Purkh.
That's crazy.
Right?
Seva is crazy.
And there's Maisema, who was a Pativrata woman who saw her husband as a Akal Purkh. She'd become such a strong Brahmgyani that she used to take 2 steps and then come to do seva of Boli Sahib. Right? And then she would, while she was doing seva, she'd hit, like, make her hand gesture like this, like she's fanning something, And then the Sikhs went to Guru Amar Das. She said, "Who is this woman and why does she fan in the air? And where does she go? Because she disappears after." And then Guru Amar Das, she says, she's a pativrata woman. She walks 2 steps from her house, and then she thinks of her husband, and then she reaches Bauli Sahib. And then she does seva here all day long, and she can sense when she has a small child who's in a like a panguda, like a cradle, and then when it cries, she waves it to shake the cradle, right?
Oh, ठीक है,
And
yeah.
that is the famous Mai Seva. Now, Kavi Santokh Singh has said
And
that.
also in Amritsar, Mai Seva Bazaar is named after.
Yeah, that was I was going to mention that Mai Seva Bazaar was named after her, Mai Seva. But now Kavi Santokh Singh Ji attributes her to he joins her to Guru Amar Das Ji and Bauli Sahib, whereas other historians have said it's basically Guru Arjan Dev Ji and Harmandir Sahib. So regardless, Gyani Ji says we're not here to judge which historian is correct or not. We're here to take the core essence of the Saki,
And what
which
is
is
the core essence of the bhavana of all these people?
right. It's basically Shraddha, right? Shraddha and Bhakti, right? Mai Seva did exist, whether it was Guru Amar Das Ji's time or whether it was Guru Arjan Dev Ji's time is irrelevant to us, right? So now, Jagrata, what is Jagrata Vasa, or what we call awake? 14 Indriyas. Now breaking it down, 5 Gyan Indriyas, 5 Karm Indriyas.
So the 5 Gyan Indriyas are the 5 senses?
Yes.
Like
These
ears, eyes, nose, tongue, skin?
Yeah, so we go for Shabad, it's ears, Sparsh is skin, Roop is eyes,
Hanji.
Shabad, Sparsh, Roop, Ras, taste is your tongue,
Hanji.
and Gandh, which means smell, is your nose. So these are your 5 Gyan Indriyas.
Hanji.
Okay? Then you have 5 Karm Indriyas,
Hanji.
right? So for the Shabad, it's your voice box, your voice. The Shabad Sparsh is touch.
Hands.
So hands, yes.
Hanji.
So in this sense, the Karm Indriya of the touch is the grabbing feature,
Hanji.
right? Shabad Sparsh, Roop, we have the so it's funny too, because your eyes and your feet are correlated.
Hanji.
If you close your eyes, you have a hard time walking because you don't know where you're stepping, right? Same thing if you study martial arts, right? Your hand, where your hand's going to go is based on how it's touched, right? Touch response, right? That's what we're taught in martial arts,
Yeah.
right? So they're all connected.
What
Skin
martial art
and
do you
hands
do?
are connected. Pardon me?
What martial art do you do?
I just do Gatka, my friend.
ठीक है, fair play.
Or Shastra Vidya, as people might want to call it. Yeah, chalo, different topic. But anyways, so the root portion, which is the fire portion of the Karm Indriya, are considered the feet.
ठीक है.
Okay, and then Shabad Sparsh Roop Ras, the taste, which is the water, that's called the urethra, by which you expend urine through your body, and then the anus, by which you expend feces.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the 5 Karm Indriyas. And then so now you have 5 and 5 equals 10.
Hanji.
And then there's 14 Indriyas, I said, remember? So then there's Man, Buddh, Chitta, Ahankar.
So man, mind, sochna, and
Buddhi,
the
the
intellect.
judgment.
And what would you say, Chet, the attention?
Chitta is more memory.
ठीक है.
Memory and desire, I think, is both the same.
So man, Buddha, Chet, what was the last one? Hankar.
Ahankar,
ठीक है. So the
the
I.
ego. Yeah. So now we have 4 plus 10, 14. When 14 of these things have, and then they have their individual vishas as well: smell, sound, touch, etc. The mind thinks, the buddhi judge, right? And the hands grab, the feet. So they all have their vishas. Those are called vishas.
So there's 14 vishas.
14 vishas.
14 indriyas.
So you have 14 indriyas, 14 vishas, and 14 devtas behind it. Now this is where the concept of devtas come into the Vedas.
Hanji.
They're saying that there's a power behind each indriya that works. If the power is not there, the indriya won't work. Like for eyes, I believe it's fire or surya, I can't remember. But the Chitta, Man, Buddhi, Hankar, there's Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and I think it's Indra or moon, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
It comes up in Vichar Mala. So anyways, so that's where the whole concept of devtas come, right? When people say, "Oh, devta ki hunde ne?" They're the powers. They're the powers by which the Maya, by which the universe works from, right? So then you have
Well,
14.
devtas are just the powers behind the senses.
Exactly. The devtas are powers behind the senses. Agni Dev, Jal Dev, right? Prithvi, right? They're the powers behind it, the Suksham Tata, right? So when these 42 processes with their powers, right, where the 42 processes are working, awake, and aware, that is the Jagrat state. Okay? All 42 things are working.
Awakened state.
Awakened state. You can consider everything minor or major, right? You can distinguish for certain that there is a difference from from dream and deep sleep. You know that you're awake when you're awake.
So
Right?
this state, because sometimes in Gurbani it talks about jagna as in actually waking up from your bed, and sometimes like oh home mare sabade jage,
Yeah.
home is killed, and through the Shabad you awaken. That's talking about the awakened state, Hana?
Awakened state, the Brahm
That
Gyan
we
state.
just referred to now.
Mm.
ठीक है.
There's one when you're away from Maya, when you're fully awake, right? And then there's awake as in I'm awake, not sleeping. So then question is, so how is the swapan different now? What is the dream state or the sleeping state? So in the sleeping state, oh yeah, and also in the Jagrat state, there's the sense that knows itself. It's called the Vishav Abhamani. It's a name. This is the Vishav Abhamani, right? That's the you that's awake. So then, and the Vishav Abhamani, it's going to come later on too, but I'll kind of just tell you now. The Vishav Abhamani lives in the eyes. So when you're awake, you're basically you're living in your eyes. When I'm talking to you, if you were in front of me physically, I would look into your eyes and talk to you, right?
Yeah.
Why don't I come up to your ear and put my mouth to your ear when I'm talking to you, when that is the actual thing that I want to do? Right? Because
some people a bit weird to do.
Well, it is weird, right? But why is it weird? Because when you look at it logically, you're like, yo, I want him to hear my voice, so I should take my mouth and put it right up to your ear so you can hear properly.
Well,
right?
I find is sometimes when people talk to me, they're not looking at my eyes.
Where are they looking?
They're looking at my biceps.
Proud boy, eh? Okay.
No, I got nothing.
No worry, yes, okay. I usually say I love myself, so I'd hug myself in my massive biceps getting away. Okay. Yeah, we've got to be funny too. It's okay. But yeah, no, I'm looking at you in your eyes because that's where you are. Right?
Yeah.
You're not in your chest at that time. You're not in your legs at that time. You're in your eyes. So I'm talking to you in your eyes. I'm looking into your eyes. Right? And then in the swapan state, there's no solid body nor solid vishas. What that means is no sthul sharir, right? This sharir isn't there in the dream state. And there's no solid visha either. There's no deep sleep state. The invisible desires of the 14 indriyas create the sense of reality, but not really. Avidya here is working. Avidya creating the minor interactions. The sakshi, without form, can see and feel all this. The sakshi can feel and everything.
So
it can see.
Sakshi?
The sakshi we'll get to later on. We'll discuss it later. I just want to tell you that the sakshi, it's the witness, the one witnessing everything.
The watcher.
Yeah, the watcher. It's the light that lights the room, right? So whether you're doing part in the room or whether you're playing jua or doing something bad in the room, the light in the room is innocent. It's just witnessing. It's just providing the light for everything. Atma is the same thing. It provides the energy for everything, right? But it's innocent because that's all it does. It's the sakshi. It sees it. When we say witness, right? Like when we say eyewitness, the eyewitness is innocent. It's the one that saw the crime, right? And it says and it's also unbiased. It says he killed her or she killed him, whatever. Right? It's innocent and it's unbiased. It's going to say the truth. That's what the sakshi is. So where are we here? You know, like if you want to see if you're awake or not, what do? You pinch yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because your indriya and the vishas are working fully at that time. In the dream state, it doesn't work fully. You'll feel a little bit. Sometimes you want to scream, but you can't fully scream in the dream. Or you want to run fast, but you can't fully run fast. Right? Or you want to eat something, but you can't fully taste it. That's the reason, right? It's because it's just basically the hologram of the Indriya exist. It's creating a false sense of reality in the
So
swapan
you
state,
see, you hear, you smell, you react, but
but not fully.
you're not physically there.
You're not physically there.
Yeah.
And this says the one who is feeling, the one who is witnessing like these, one who is feeling these senses, that state is known as the tejas abhamani.
Tejas abhamani.
That's the ego. Abhamani means like the ego self, right? That's called the tejas abhamani. That'll come up later on. So then you have the sukhopat, the deep sleep. This is where the desires become formless. The avidya of all the transactions, the giving and the taking, they all immerse into the Karan body. And we'll explain the Karan body is going to come in this one. Everything, it's like when you sleep, everything goes in. The desires, everything. The man actually separates from the Atma at that point. The crystal from the red shawl is separated. And this is how we prove that we are not the man. Because the only thing that exists at that time is pure Atma. The reason why we can't see it is because the avidya is still covering our sense. Our hankar, our buddhi is covered by the avidya. And there's more things there, but we'll explain that later as well. Just want to get that. So understand there. And then murcha is where you're fainted, where you're unconscious. If while awake for some reason you're injured, in the soft part of your head, you hit too hard, or you faint due to some illness or for some other reason, but the sakshi is the only one there. It is the vishav abhamani that faints. The vishav abhamani faints. It falls unconscious. That's called the murcha state. The prans still work.
So the deeper awareness is present. It's just the physical indriya and all that switch off.
Yes, that's right. And now this is important to understand because people will confuse this with what samadhi is, which is the next question. And now, remember how I said that each indriya has a visha and a power?
Hanji.
So you need these three things to work, and that is called a triputi. Like a triangle, state, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So now each of your 14 things has a triputi, right? There's the knower, who we call the gyata. There's the gyan, the type of knowledge. And now my favorite word here, which people get a really kick out of, the gay. I remember Gandhi sitting down. He's like, I'm so sorry. We were sitting down, and there's a person sitting here, and he's explaining this. He goes, मैं इन्हू देख रहा हाँ, so मैं ज्ञाता हो गया, देखना ज्ञान हो गया, ते ए बैठा ए गे हो गया. इन्हू मैं देख रहा हाँ.
When stuff like that happens, it's a movie, man. It's the best.
And the funny thing is, he was actually he knew what he was talking about too. So he loved that one. So, anyways,
so gay
is
so
actually gay.
So the gyata is the person experiencing the knower, the gyan is the experience, and the gay is the what is being experienced.
Yes, the object of interest, right? When these three immerse into the Brahm emotion, where they're seen differently, they're still there, but they become synchronized. That is called a Savakalpa Samadhi. Okay, this is the first form of Samadhi that you go into. Where the Trupati is now have no difference, which means all three have become one. When Kavi Santokh Singh Ji describes Rishi Dushtatam and Guru Gobind Singh Ji's state when he was at Hemkund, when he did tapasya after the war with Bail Subail, right? And Rishi Samunda Ji tells him do tapasya here for so many years, right?
Yeah.
And Kavi Santokh Singh Ji says his tap became so intense that there was no difference of gyata gyan ge. He had become the object. He was doing tapasya. He had become tapasya.
So there's no separation.
There's no separation. All three became one. That is called the Nirvikalp Samadhi.
The deepest Samadhi.
The deepest. That's where there's total Brahm Gyan. There's no duality, right? Within the witness Sakhi, the Vishav Abhamani is in samadhi. This is the samadhi state.
But there's no duality. There's
This
just no division.
nothing,
Everything's
nothing. Everything becomes one,
mm,
right? You become one, the state, right? And then turiya. Now here's one thing. People kind of say we've kind of developed a whole. I want to say a post-colonial version of what we think Brahm Gyan is.
mm,
Some people think that Brahm Gyan is like, a person becomes a Superman. He can shoot out lasers in his eyes and pick up flying objects and stuff, right? But one thing is the Brahm Gyani never violates the rules of the world. But also what exists is there are actually levels of Gyan. I don't want to get into them in detail, but I just want to bring that up. When we talk about the 7 Bhumikas of Gyan, in the 4th Bhumika, you receive Brahm Gyan, but you're not necessarily Tatkal Darshi at that time. Because there's a suksham level of the body's karma that still exists that needs to be expended out before you're immersed into the total Brahm. And that happens during the body. Some Brahm Gyanis reach this state in their body, like Baba Buddha Ji, right? Like Bhai Ram Kaur Ji, right? Like Mahant Ji, right? These are what we call the Paramahans, Turiya Avastha Brahm Gyanis. They don't see the world anymore. The Asam Shakti, the Padartha Pavani state, it doesn't exist for them anymore. They passed all this.
so they're beyond Jagat, Supana, Sakopa, beyond all
Yeah.
of these things.
And the only reason why the body is reacting to the people here, it's like basically, when you take a fan and you pull the plug on it, and because of the momentum left in the fan, it keeps spinning.
Yeah.
And it stops when the momentum finishes. So their body only finishes because the pralabdha karma of the body still is expanding out. That's it. They're not there anymore. Right? All you're basically talking to Brahm straight at that point. Right? And they're only
People
reacting
said
to
that about Gyan Indrajit Singh. You looked at them and they didn't even look
same
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
They're Brahmanari, like they are just pure consciousness.
And now, if they were answering your questions, they're not answering questions because it was their karam. They're answering your question because now they're reacting to your karam. Your karam was that you were owed an answer. Get my point? So they're not. It's not upon their karam anymore. So that's why it's saying, if the Satguru's daya, right? Because Satguru doesn't have any karam, right? And if the Satguru is telling you something, it's only because the Satguru is compassionate. And it's only because maybe you have had a karma or something, but Satguru doesn't have to tell you anything, right? So in the Turiya Avastha, the Samadhi, Murcha, and the 3 states can be distinguished. What illuminates all of these states, these themselves in everything, experiences everything, in everything, you are the only knower of all, connected to the senses in the Jagrata state, Swapan state, the consciousness of Vidya in Sukhopad, the one who sees and senses all these, that is the Turiya state. The witness, the thing all the way at the back, the Brahm, that's the one who's seeing everything. Right? This is the Turiya state.
Like the one, it stays the same through everything.
Right. Exactly.
Everything can change, everything can illuminate different things, but that stays the same.
Yeah. And what happens in the Nirvikalp state, in the Turiya state, I am the form within all. Like I said, remember when you rise above this, you say, oh, Man Singh is everywhere. Man Singh is talking to Man Singh there. Man Singh created the world. Man Singh destroyed the world. Man Singh. It was always me all along. There's no other.
Is that image where God is flicking a little thing and everything's God in the image? You seen it?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
the reality beyond all states, like awareness beyond everything, beyond waking, dreaming, sleeping mind, everything is this, and
Yeah.
and it's unchanging.
Right.
Wow.
And then, the statement is, I am the form within all. Everything is my form above the Nirvikalp state. This is definitely the Turiya supreme state. Bhai Daya Singh Ji said, is this a supreme and most beautiful state? Then he says the next question was the difference between Jeev and Sakhi, the Sakshi. From the Jagrat state to the Samadhi state, the Abhamani, the knower of these states, is the maleen, the dirty, by avidya of not knowing who they are. That is the Jeev. Okay? The Turiya, the Sakshi, is the one that illuminates and knows all from Jagrat to Samadhi. It's the one, when you're in deep sleep, right? You're like, oh, I felt like I just laid down, and the next minute I woke up,
Yeah.
right? And then 8 hours has passed, right? Because you weren't even dreaming at that time. That's a deep sleep. You are actually in a form of samadhi at that time. Because, and it's going to come up later on, is because in the deep sleep you're in the samadhi state where you're connected to Brahm, and the Brahm state is so anandamay, so blissful, it heals your body, detoxes your brain physically, not just mentally, right? And it gives you the ultimate form of peace and bliss. I mean, you would when you really want to go to sleep, right? It doesn't matter if the person puts your favorite food in front of you or pizza or whatever you desire or something, or if you want to take it to the other level, the most beautiful woman in front of you, right? Or whatever. At that time, you're just like, I don't care, man. I just want to go to sleep, man. You don't desire anything at that point. Why? Is because the most highest form of bliss and pleasure that you can receive is sleep. The deep form of sleep. That's what we desire every day, right? We want to sleep. We want a good sleep, because we know when you have some sort of worry thing that you have at nighttime, by the time you wake up in the morning, it's like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? It's not that bad.
I remember one Kathavajik saying, Sonu thani chahida, neend chahidi hai.
Was. Yeah, that's right. Right. So where are we here? Jeevan Saki from the Jagat. Yes, the Maleen. The Turiya, the Sakshi, is the one that illuminates and knows all from Jagat to Samadhi. This is the pure form of Jeev, the Brahm. Sakshi is the pure form of Jeev, the Brahm, when it's in the Samadhi form. When you're in the deep sleep form, or when you're in the Samadhi form, you're in the Brahm. The mind is actually detached at that point. The crystal is separated from the red scarf, right? It is an infinite and unending bliss. Now think about that. Think about the deepest sleep and the most, it feels so good sometimes, even after you wake up, you kind of still, you still kind of, you talk about it, you still kind of want to go back there. You're like, yeah, let me just I just want to lay down on my bed and kind of just experience and relish in that joy that that's what it was, right? Right. And the Sakshi was there. The Turiya is the Sakshi, and the Sakshi is the Turiya. They're one and the same.
So the Saki is what in a sentence?
Atma.
Atma. The one
Turiya
that
is Atma.
consciousness that sees and everything.
The pure Chetana.
So in Bhai Gurdas Ji and the Avara, like I think one of the Puri, there's a Saki Avastha that he talks about where he goes, Akhi andar dekhta, darshan vich disse, like
yeah, that's what he's talking about.
From inside the eyes, but is also like hidden from outside or something like.
Yeah, that the Atma, right? It's hidden from the outside. That's exactly what he's talking about. He's saying that it's not really, there's no you, right? Your ego thinks you're doing it, but it's actually the Atma looking outside. Like when the sun's shining in, I'm reflecting it off thing. It's, this light doesn't really have its own source. It's using the sun's source.
Like he goes on and says, Sabde Vichivakani, we can describe through the Shabad, but it exists in the Surti, in the consciousness, isn't it?
Exactly.
Whoa.
And then I think the next one is, what is Brahm? This is going to be a little deep. Now remember, as I said, Bhai Daya Singh used to say, Brahm Gyan can come anytime because you're doing Brahm Chintan now. It is true. It is true. It is true because, I mean, sometimes when Gyaniji was giving us, teaching a granth or something, or just talking about Brahm Vidya, we'd have no idea, but 2 hours would have passed just like that. It's because we were in a state of, bliss.
Flow state. In that flow state, it's like.
Yeah. This is one way of doing. This is one way of doing bhakti, doing Brahmchintan all the time. Baba Indrajit Singh never did Simran. He didn't do any tap. At least we never saw him doing it. He only did Brahmchintan. That's it.
No, I'm sure, because I remember once, because saying we went to see him, and one of the saying had a mala in his hand, and he was like, "Tu kyun phadya sare on the samne? We gupt rakh, ye cheez gupt rakhi di." Yeah. So 100% they were doing the samadhi, but they were very protective and gupt with it.
Bhojan bhajan maya nari, ye sab parde ke adhikari. कहते पर्दे च रखो.
Yeah.
So what is Brahm? The form of Ishwar, Now remember, Ishwar is the reflection of Akal Purukh inside Maya, who knows who it is. It does not have the form of a Gyan. It does not have the form of Maya. It does not have the form of not knowing who it is. So it's not avidya, right? It's not pardhan, right? It's the form of Ishwar. The form of Ishwar is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. Okay, I'll go on there. They, the three, are the beautiful form of Ishwar. The Turiya form of Jiva is Brahm. You have to understand that. Turiya form of Jiv is Brahm. The Turiya form of Ishwar is also Brahm. So understand that the Jiv and Ishwar are the same in the Turiya state.
So the Jiv, the individual Atma, the soul is Brahman. Ishwar, Parameshwar in creation is also Brahm.
Brahm. Right? So, and the way Gyaniji explains it, he explains it as Upadhi. Upadhi, if we can translate it, is actually kind of, it translates to position. But in this sense, I'd like to say see it as a vessel. So the vessel of Ishwar is Maya, because it quickly grabbed Maya when it came in, and there was that reflection of Chaitanya shined in the Maya. It quickly grabbed Maya and took over it, right? Hence the Vishnu with the Maya, massaging its feet. The Upadhi of the Jeev is Agyan, Avidya. Agyan and Avidya, as we talked about earlier. That's the only difference between the two. And now it's actually going to talk about it too. And this is, so understand that the Jeev and Ishwar are the same in the Turiya state. They are both the same form. There's no difference. The Sakhi is the Nirvikalp form. It is the blissful Brahm form. So if Jeev is a drop of water, if Jeev is a drop, Ishwar is the ocean, and the Brahm is the water.
Is the Pani itself.
It's the Pani itself.
The essence of both Jiva and Ishwar.
Right? So that's how we come to know that. The Brahm, who is it connected to and who it is not connected to, it is not connected to anyone, nor is it disconnected to anyone.
That's mad. The drop, the ocean, at the end of the day, they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. Right? And then, so what is Brahm? Like I said, remember, Brahm it's innocent. It's just the light illuminating everything. It's the energy energizing everything. It's not in Karam. It's not in Vidya, right? It exists there, but it's separated. Like the sun shining on the mud, right? The tup, the rays of the sun never get dirty, but they illuminate the mud, right? The dirt and stuff. So it's saying the Brahm is Nirvikalp, the pure form without doubt, as the Guru has made us to understand. Anand is Brahm and Brahm is Anand. Like you talk about what is fire, fire is heat and light. You take away the two things, there's no fire left. You take away all the Anand, there's no Brahm. I mean, there's Brahm, but you know what I'm saying.
So Brahm is basically that deep state of bliss.
Yeah, deep state of bliss. That's what Brahm is.
And this is not to be confused with normal pleasures like excitement, entertainment, temporary happiness. This is like permanent life, forever. Nothing is lacking.
So
it never runs out.
Those things that you're talking about, I'm not gonna say a hard yes for that either. I'm not going to say a hard no. They're not on the same scale, but the essence is the Anand. And you'll come to know why when we talk about the next Visha, the Kosh.
That's what I was saying, like Brahm is the Anand, not the bliss that you have, the Dunyavi blisses.
Yes.
It's beyond.
That's Tamogani. Yeah. So if you're talking about, your sex taste wine kind of bliss, right? That is a different form. The essence of that pleasure. Now, when I say to you, think about it. Why is a person drinking alcohol? Why is a person dealing with, I guess, many women? Does it truly give you joy, or do you think it's giving you joy, pleasure?
It's the thought of joy, pleasure.
Right. How long does a pleasure stay? A few seconds.
Yeah.
Why does the pleasure stay there? Right. Is the only reason why the pleasure stays is because for a few seconds your buddhi was concentrated and focused on the pleasure, and it was touching your Nandamay Kosh. That's it. But the Brahmgyani is constantly in that state. The Brahmgyani is constantly in that state, but you are in the deep sleep state. The joy you're sleeping with a smile on your face.
Hmm.
The Brahmgyani is constantly in that space, in that even in times of pain, right? So where are we here? Oh yeah, okay. So now, sorry, no, we didn't do the Brahm who is connected to and who is not connected to. Yeah, we said that Anand is Brahm and Brahman is Anand. That is the Brahm form. Whoever knows this, their bonds are broken. When you understand this, when the Gyan is there about who you are, the bonds break. The blinding well of
What do you mean?
attachment,
What you know when you say the bonds break? What do you mean?
the bonds of attachment.
And
Moh de bandhan.
there's difference between speaking about it like we are now and actually understanding it. When you actually understand, like you said, that's when Brahm comes. That's when everything breaks.
Think about anything that you've ever liked and loved,
Hmm.
detaching from it.
Hmm.
That's the breaking of the bond. It's easier said than done.
Well, much easier said than done. That's
Much
true.
easier. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇਵੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੁਸ਼ਟਦਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਤਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਹ ਨਾ ਕਰੀ,
Hanji.
right? And the one who, was indifferent to his, sons dying actually felt proud that, his sons gave up his life for Taram, right? Only Guru Gobind Singh Ji can do that.
Because
There's
also
no
Guru
other.
Gobind Singh was in that state of Brahm where there was no
Constant.
separation. Jadoo Sahib Zade Shaheed hui hoye, there was no separation.
I mean, he doesn't want us to call him Parameshwar, but what else can you call him,
Hmm.
right? When you put all these things together, right? So that blinding well of attachment is broken. That was the answer. Like it's the attachment. When the attachment breaks, right? That's what the bond is. Now the next one is 5 koshes, and I want to ask you how we're doing for time, because this it's not that long. It should be okay.
But
We
so
should
we're
be able
on
to cover.
1 hour 21 at the moment.
We should be able to cover it, because now this is something. Um, this is knowledge now. This is just basically these again. These are hardcore definitions. Um, there's less concepts in here. This is just basically knowledge of what your body is made up of. So we're going to talk about the 5 koshas, right? Anything that doesn't make sense, right? And please keep on asking questions. So now, what Bhai Daya Singh Ji or Kavi Santokh Singh Ji kind of incorporates is he keeps on bringing back the example of a bird, the bird's head, the bird wing, the bird tail, right? He wants to explain to you how everything is connected and disconnected at the same time. So he's gonna talk about that for each concept that he talks about. What the underlying concept is, I don't know, and I basically haven't really heard anybody else of why this whole bird analogy is used as well. Okay, so he says the 5 koshas are made up of 25 combinations, right, and have 5 birds. So say the Vedas, right? And when we're talking about the Vedas, Ved mean Gyan here, right? And the Gyan is in the Vedas, specifically the Upanishad portion of the Vedas. The Gyan is there. But here, when every time a Gurbani talks about Ved, or whenever anybody else talks about Ved, we're looking at the root core word here, which means Gyan. And when they say that the Veds were coming, they're the breath of Narayan and Brahma wrote it, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the knowledge.
Satya.
Right? The saints have experienced this, he says. There are 5 karmendriyas, we talked about them. The voice box, hands, feet, urethra, and the anus. 5 karmendriya. There are 5 pranas, right? There's one that you breathe. There's one that pushes down your waist. There's one that makes your joints move. These are all pranas, okay? And then there's one that takes from your navel. It's the one that takes the power out of food and takes it to the rest of your body, capillaries, if you want to call it, right? And there's another one. And then there's one that makes you go hiccup. It's in your throat. It goes upwards, okay? These combine and make up the, okay, yes. So he says the 5 karamindriyas. Remember, I'll kind of break them out. We have the 5 koshas, the Annamay kosh, the Pranamay kosh, Manamay kosh, Vagyanmay kosh, and Anandamay kosh. Okay? So the Annamay kosh he's going to talk about a little later, but he's moved to Pranamay kosh first. He says, what does a Pranamay kosh look like? He says it's the 5 karmendriyas, the voice box, hands, feet, urethra, and anus, and the 5 pranas. Think about it. When you're working out cardio, right? Your muscles are moving,
Yeah.
you're breathing deeper. Or when you're worried, right? Right, your breathing goes deeper because your body needs more thing. So the pranamay kosh is the oxygen, the pranas, and
Yeah.
your karam indriyas. Otherwise, you won't be able to move. These combine and make up the pranamay kosh. The one prana has 4 variants, like I was talking about, the 5. The main prana is the head of the bird, 2 are the wings, and 1 is a tail. Like I said, he gives the bird analogy. The
Hanji.
pranas empower the karam indriyas. The pranas are the one that give power to the karam indriyas.
Hanji.
Or empower, I'd say. I don't want to say gives them energy because that's the atma. The karma indriya combined with the man. Now we're taking the same thing, karma indriyas, combining it with the mind. Remember, the mind is the one that makes the plan. Skalp vikalp makes the plan. The karma indriya and the man is what the manmay kosh is.
Manmay kosh.
Manmay kosh, and because the man has control over the karma indriya. Right? When you want to push, you push. When you want to, when you want to walk, you walk. When you want to touch, you touch. Right? So when the bakri, the voice box inside you, there's 3 types of voice boxes: the pasanti, madma, bakri. Right? These are part of the whole thing. And then he gives you a bird analogy again. Right? He says the para, the words in the navel, is the tail. The madma, the words in the throat. The pashanti, which are the wings. The pashanti is the bakri, is the head of the bird.
Tea.
Now moving on to the next one, the 5 gyan indriyas now: the ears, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose, along with the buddhi. Remember what the buddhi does? The buddhi makes judgments.
The intellect. Huh?
Yeah, the intellect, the buddhi, the wisdom. Right? It uses the information processed from the ears, the skins, the eyes, the tongue, and the nose. This is the Vigyanmay kosh. This is where the buddhi lives. Right? It makes the judgments. With the bird analogy, or the 3 koshes mentioned above, this is what we call the ling kosh, the suksham kosh. So which ones were they? They were the Vigyanmay kosh, Manmay kosh, and Pranmay kosh. They're the 3 inner ones. The outside one,
the energy, mind, intellect all together.
yeah. The outside one is the Anamay kosh and the Anandamay kosh. Anamay kosh, Anandamay kosh. 3 in the middle are what we call the ling sharir. Okay, where are we? And this is the suksham, the invisible body. It's not the solid body. The 5 koshas and 3 bodies have been stated. A wise ones understand this in your hearts. The koshas, kosh means sheath.
So
Like
3 bodies, like the srir, the physical, the shuksham, the mind, the intellect, and
Right,
the
it's a body within a body. The koshas,
tea.
right? And what does kosh mean? Kosh is what, like karpana myan,
Like a myan, a storage box, basically.
storage box. Basically, they're holders or storage boxes. And he goes, the Sat Chit Anand form is smaller than small, most invisible. It is the Atma. It is formless. It is what the Anandamay Kosh box covers. The Anandamay is actually the Vagyan, the Agyan, the Avidya. And it's made up of our Karam. Okay? This is the reason why the Anandamay Kosh is blissful. So bliss or pleasure is experienced when the buddhi turns inwards and touches the Anandamay Kosh. The reflection of the Atma onto the Anandamay Kosh is where the pleasure comes from. So it's basically, you have a bulb or you have a fire, and you put a ring around. You put a ring around the fire, and the ring gets hot, right? Same thing with the Anandamay Kosh, because it's the one covering the Atma because it needs the body. The Ananda of the Atma reflects off the Anandamay Kosh, and then the Anandamay Kosh is that's why it's called Anandamay Kosh. It's where the pleasure is.
So it comes off the Atma itself.
Reflects off the Atma, yes. Right? So the reflection of the Atma onto the Anandamay Kosh is where the pleasure comes from. It is where all pleasures come from. Pleasure is never in the materialistic objects.
So it is like the state of consciousness matters more than the object which the pleasure is. Hanji.
Exactly. If that was the case, one would experience pleasure from eating an orange while unconscious. Right? If the pleasure, why doesn't a rock like eating French fries?
Because he can't.
There's nobody there, right? There's nobody to experience it. You put $5 million in front of a rock, rock's not going to jump for joy.
And we're talking about rocks as in Patthar, not
Pathar.
the rock, Dwayne Johnson.
No, we're not talking about Dwayne Johnson. You put $5 million in front of Dwayne Johnson, he may be happy. But you
Yeah.
put $5 million in front of me, I'll be really happy.
Um,
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. No, sorry, that was a joke. Where are we? Yeah. So
using the orange analogy.
yeah, when and then when it happens, so the orange, Baba Indrajit Singh talk about this. He goes santara khao, right? He goes, is the ras in the orange? Is the ras in the tongue?
Yeah.
Right? Where's the ras?
Mm.
The ras is in the Anandamay Kosh.
Mm.
And it's only because for that certain time, your buddhi was focused because of karam.
Mm.
Your karam allowed your buddhi to touch the Anandamay Kosh at that time.
Mm.
And that's why you experienced it. So when you eat something for the first time, right? You're like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is awesome, right? And then you eat it the second time, still good, but not as good as the first time. Why? You were more focused the first time because you wanted to know what it actually tastes like. Second time, you weren't really that focused, right? It's like when a mother meets her son for after a very long time, she's hugging, kissing, whatever. Oh yeah, 5 minutes later, she's kind of calmed down and she's okay. Why?
Yeah.
She's waiting, she's focused, right? And now she's not,
Mm.
right? That's what happens. So where are we here? We were talking about, yeah, okay. So when is not a pleasure? Where's my orange analogy? Yes, here it is. One is not focused. One is not depressed. This experience of pleasure. So when one is not focused, or when one is depressed, the experience of pleasure is hindered, or it's lowered. How can such an atma be understood by the solid indriyas? The atam buddhi given to the one by the guru, only by this can the atma be seen. The atma buddhi is the one that lives close to the atma. Only it can understand through vivek, wisdom, and we'll talk about vivek in the other ones. There will be a section that'll come on. So the flow of the man is external. Mind always goes outwards. It does not turn internally. It is affected by the external environment. The awareness of the mind spreads outwards as water spreads into the field and takes on the same shape. So if you were to, water your field and kind of put it into, I don't know, use AI to map where the water would go, and if you would in your image remove the earth, you will see that the water took the shape of the field. Or
That Bruce Lee analogy: put water in the cup, it becomes the cup.
exactly.
Mm.
So basically, when your britti it wants to talk about the britti. It's about talking about your awareness. When your awareness goes outside the man, right, it kind of takes the shape of whatever you're looking at, and it comes back, and it tells a gyan indriya what it saw, right? So the 5 gyan indriya only give knowledge of the external. They are external as well. They only understand the 5 vishas, the sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell of the environment. The indriyas can't,
but not this Atma, the consciousness reality.
not even the man.
Mm.
The indriyas can't see the man. The
Mm.
man knows them though.
Mm.
The man becomes alert and motivates the indriyas to sense by using their skills. The indriyas can't see the motivator, the man.
Mm.
The man is invisible and the indriyas are solid. They are part of our solid body, right? Man is not the result of senses or of the indriyas. In the same way, the atma is not the sense of the man. The man can't sense the atma. It is
So you can't sense your own source.
right.
Like a torch can't shine a light on its own battery.
Exactly. Yeah. It's finer than the man. The man is an atom and can't know the atma. The atma is invisible as the man is bigger. Okay? The man cannot go to something that is finer. The 5 indriyas and the man, these are extroverts. They are lower and corrupt in this way. They're never satisfied facing the external because I mean, why does a person go to a club? Why does a person drink? Why does a person, deal with women? And why
They
does a
want
person do that?
satisfaction. It's the search for satisfaction.
They're looking for an and
Mm.
they don't know that's inside of them,
Mm.
right? They wander every day without coming to the shelter of the Satguru.
Mm.
The awareness does not become introverted. The
Exactly
Chetana
like
doesn't go
the
inside.
analogy of the heron, the mreg, where
Yes.
it's going everywhere searching for the sugandh, but it
Musk, yeah.
or the vijaya.
I live it to you. It's a small little,
And Bhai
uh,
Gurdas, he writes about that, huh?
yeah. It's a small lymph inside of them, the musk,
Yeah.
and they keep on wandering around for it. Yeah. The shelter of the Satguru is still. It's calm. It is peaceful to all the Indriyas and man. The real home and wealth are achieved then. And we're on the last bit here. The man is spoiled like an animal who loves to eat green grass and breaks free of the chain to get it. Okay? It runs to where it wants to go. It constantly gives pain to the jeev. It is like delusional deer, what we talk about, chasing mirages, the musk
And,
of the deer.
and that's it. Why does it give pain? Because the desires, because the attachment, because the satisfaction never ends. Bulk.
Never ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, you're going to separate,
Mm.
right? That's going to be a sense of pain as well, right? And then your analogy of the musk and the deer came. The musk of the deer is within the deer, but the delusional deer thinks it's outside and keeps chasing it. The pleasure was always inside them, but the man keeps searching for it outside. If the
That's
deer stands, if the deer stands and smells its own navel, it will understand the truth. In the same way, when the jeev figures out who the Brahm is, the jeev will become still and in supreme bliss. Thinking of the Atma, the man becomes peaceful. The taste of the Nam, the one who feels it, they experience Anand, bliss and peace.
with that analogy that comes to us, like as humans, we're searching for Maya, likes, Instagram ticks, pleasure, relationships, entertainment, movies, khana, and we think ah karke ah ho jana, I get this job, I'll finally be at peace, but it never happens because that peace is already inside.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, and these were the initial questions that Bhai Daya Singh Ji said, and you can see, their definition. The next one is going to be another definition one. So, and I urge everybody to kind of go through these things because these are very important to understand. These definitions that Bhai Daya Singh Ji gave, like you said, you were doing Sajpat, and you didn't the whole thing about Karam kind of started coming up, right? As you go through more of these chapters or something, the knowledge gets deeper.
And the kids sometimes say, "Are you doing part or are you daydreaming?" Because you read the Punkti and then you're like
Well, yeah,
soaking. It's oh man. And
that's the whole point.
I was speaking to a saying yesterday, the one that I sent the images emoji today.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I started studying further before this next episode came out because it's awakened a Sikya to go and search.
Yes.
And even yesterday, I was so excited. The first time before this podcast, you said I was up all night doing Gurdas to Bhai Daya Singh. Like last night, I was dreaming about Bhai Daya Singh. Like,
Awesome.
who are they? Like, just a different level to even imagine. We've gone through this conversation very low level. Imagine the conversation that took place in the Darbar then and the
Oh, yes.
Gursikh's understanding then. Like, whoa, like Sikhi is Behant man. And whew, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is that this is called Brahm Vidya. This is you're trying to understand who you are, and you're talking about, and you're trying to understand who Brahm is. When you try to understand who Brahm is, that is Brahm Chintan, because you're thinking of Brahm. I was just kind of thinking something very, the other day, when Guru Nanak Dev Ji, during the time where Pita Kalu Ji is ready to leave his sharir, Guru Nanak Dev Ji gives him Brahm Gyan. And he says, Kavi Santokh Singh Ji says that Mata Tripta Ji also received Brahm Gyan because she loved her child so much. And it says it doesn't really matter, when your son is, Brahm Sarup, and if you love the child so much, you receive Brahm Gyan as well, right? So it's basically, thinking of Brahm, right? That's what we call Brahm Chintan, and it does lead to Brahm Gyan. And there's actually a parampara after each Granth finishes, is the Guru, the Ustad, the teacher tells the student, did you receive Brahm Gyan yet? And if the teacher says no, the teacher says, okay. If the student says no, then the teacher says, okay, now we have to go to a more complex Granth. So the essence is, if you read the more Granths you read, it doesn't really mean you're more Gyani, it means you're more sick. You need a stronger, when you have a cold, you can probably go to the pharmacy and, get Sudafed or Tylenol or something but then, when you have an infection, you need to go to the doctor to get antibiotics, right? And then if you got pneumonia, then you're probably going to end up in the hospital, or you need to end, right? So that's our state.
Because it's like कई सिख है कि जरे एक चित action का alphas के बीच ना आयो. Like there's that Sakhi of a Sikh during Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj's time, where he comes to Maharaj and he goes, "Dunya sab jhoothi hai, it's worthless, kuch hai hi nahi. We sirf tusi hai." Maharaj goes to him, "You've got that berag. Tu Gurbani di santya layi?" And he goes, "Nahi." And he goes, "Le la hun." And he has Santya, he calls an Ustad, has Santya. And then a few months pass, and he calls the Ustad, "Oh, Sikh kitte hai?" And he goes, "Oh, mur ke aaya nahi." Like, and he goes, "Bulao nu, or your langar vich hai." When the bulao him, he goes, "Maharaj ki hoya?" Maharaj asks me ki hoya. Like, how come you haven't completed your Santya? And he goes, "I got to Anand Sahib and that Pangti Anand Pya Meri Maa is Guru mein." I got everything I needed.
Yeah.
And like us, we got to read everything because we're sick. And jada you see some bujurg in the Guru Kar, like in the dals, anpar, we bas mala far liya, Vai Guru Kar liya, and they're there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bas yahi kari jao, mala fado, te japi jao, right?
And saying that, so this isn't for everyone, and it's not that if someone can't engage, it's no fault on them. They might have got there where they need to get.
Yeah, that too, or
their
or their karam hasn't come yet, right?
Oh, that's true. With Karma Nali Gurprasad Nali, this is take place. It's only for Gurprasad that we can have this conversation. It's not us.
It's all the karam. It's all the Guru Di Kirpa, right? By which we can do this. Or else, when two people get together and they talk about Brahm, that's Sad Sangat. And, bin paga, Sad Sangana labbe, right? Without the pag, there's no, when, I can't remember, it was by Beloji or by Manjji. One of them was the worshipper of the Sakhi Sarvar. I think it was by Beloji. I could be wrong now. Anyways, it was where Guru Arjan Dev Ji wrote a letter to them, right? And said that you've been you were my Bhagat in your previous birth, and I want you to come. And he's like, who's this? Right? And then, by Beloji comes, it was his karam that brought him to Amritsar, right? Otherwise he was just sitting in his home, just, chilling out, worshipping Sakhi Sarvar and, going on with his life and stuff. And the Guru called him, wrote a letter and called him. Right? That was his karam. It was his time to come. Right? That can happen without Guru's kirpa. So we're running.
And this has been a beautiful day, a beautiful, good use of like the last hour and 40 so minutes. Like, thank you. And you know what? The big thank you goes to Guru Maharaj, to Guru Gobind Singh, to Bhai Daya Singh Ji, to Kavi Santokh Singh, right? And for our Ustads who put us on this path.
Gyani Ji. I mean, it's all Gyani Sher Singh Ji Maharaj, Ambale Wale. It's he gave these definitions, and by which we were able to.
With Gyani Ji, it can be just a little interaction, and it'll put you on a path to do something.
And it was. I come to understand this with Gyani Ji is that when you learn from him, it's basically 25% what he's told you and what you've retained. But the 75% comes from his spirituality. And I remember Bhai Supreet Singh from New York, he said the same thing in his podcast too. Once I was listening to him, he said, "Yeah, I feel the same thing. It's the parampara. It's the Gyaniya di Sampradaya di parampara. It's by, and this is the reason why the Guru Shish parampara is the best. I mean, talk about listening, learning tabla and stuff. You can easily open up books. Why don't they become experts, right? Is because sitting with the ustad, the parampara, right? Sitting with the guru who's connected to the ultimate parampara, like by Mani Singh Ji's parampara, by Mani Singh Ji's samprada, right? The one who was the original, leader of the university, the Taksal as we call it, right? It's that parampara is coming down from, guru to shish, guru to shish, right? That's coming all the way to a Gyaniji, right? And that's part of the being part of the parampara is a karma in itself.
It's great. Only through great karmas do you get to understand who these people are and sit with them and then learn from them and then, go back and meditate and do a bias of all these things and think about them.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, it's probably, I know we're hitting about an hour and 40 some odd minutes. Um, but I encourage everybody to listen to, I guess, in chunks if they can. But that's what people have been doing. The feedback that I got is like, yeah, I heard your last podcast, but I listened to it in about 3-4 days. Or somebody said they put it on double speed, double speed, and they did that. I'm like, you may miss some stuff by doing that, so I don't really recommend that. But the sectioning it out is good, and it's a good thing we got through to the whole 40-second Ansu, which is really good. And the next one is going to be a little similar. There's going to be definitions in the second one as well. And then after that, we're going to talk about Jog. There's going to be Jog Vichar. There's going to be Vedant Vichar. And then he's going to give Gurmat Siddhant as well, right? So there's lots to come. Gurmat Sadhana, right? And then, where is it? Then he talks about Brahm Gyan, right? And then it's basically 10. So we've done second. We have about 8 more to go. I don't know how many more videos, might be a lot more because they actually get more intense. But I recommend everybody, please leave your comments, like I said at the beginning, below. We'll try to answer them as best as we can, and if we can't, we'll try to tell you where you can get your answers from. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I've been wanting to, like Gyaniji revealed these arts to us, and and I'm actually happy that you actually wanted to take this on because nobody else really did, right? And it takes a lot of time, focus, energy. Like I mean, we were spending almost 2 hours each time, and then I know you're spending a lot more time editing this, right? So it's a thank you to you, and I applaud your
straight out. but
whatever. It's applause worthy.
Reading before this, just thinking, contemplation, having conversations with other people, with the family, with the missus, just vicharing these things, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Talk with the missus about this. Talk with the kids about this. Right? This gyan needs to be everywhere. This is foundational knowledge, right?
Yeah, it's not even deep. It's not deep.
Right?
It's just normal standard.
After all this, you will stop listening to other people offensively or defensively. Right? You'll understand the unbiased state. You'll understand, when non-Sikh kathas, Krishna or Ram, when they're talking about who Brahm is and stuff, you'll be able to enjoy that. You'll be able to enjoy Suraj Prakash Granth. You'll be able to enjoy Ramayana and Mahabharata, or the kathas on Gita, or any other, or Bhai Gurdas Ji's Vars, right? Or Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Guru Granth Sahib Ji's katha just takes a very different form after you study this, after you read these.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? You just enjoy life more.
Yeah, totally.
Every day.
Prema Bhakti, guys, it's almost like you'll be sitting in Sangat and stuff, and you'll listen to the Shabad, and it'll just click to you better, and you'll be like, oh, wow. Right? It becomes a different experience listening to Kirtan. Before I'm more of a musician, so I was always paying attention to the Suratal, and how would I play this if I was on stage playing it? But now it's a different experience. It's a good thing Gandhiji took us out of the Maya ego kind of thing.
That's beautiful. So next week we'll catch up again.
Yes, sir.
ਗੁਰੂ
Looking
ਸਾਹਿਬ
forward to it.
ਕਿਰਪਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਭਾਈ ਦਇਆ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਰੱਖੋ we
बिल्कुल.
finish this task ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ
Yeah, yeah, only
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
by His
bro
will. ठीक है जी.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ
वाहिगुरु जी का
ਖਾਲਸਾ
खालसा
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
वाहिगुरु जी की
ਫਤਿਹ
फतेह.